Hey, welcome back, Onyx. We are back in the house. We have a special guest here to kick off our season 2. I hope y'all missed us because we're back now. So we have Mr. Aaron Kinzer, poet, motivational speaker, author. This man has a lot to unpack. And if y'all got some questions in the comments, please go ahead and ask your questions. We got our production Queen Cass in the back, and she's going to kind of help us out with those questions as well. So let's go ahead and kick it off. Aaron, thank you. Thank you for coming on.
Hey, man, thanks for having me, man. I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So just tell the audience a little bit about yourself, like your life journey. How'd you get started with what you're doing now, and kind of how you built yourself up to this?
Oh, man, it's a lot to unpack, man. Aaron Kinzer, the impact poet. One love is my name. Poetry is my game. You know what I mean? I'm here to touch and change lives every way possible. It's been a long journey to get to this point. By no means am I finished or complete, but it's been a long road. Started back in '81. I'm a young guy.
That's right.
Age 42, I'm an '80s baby.
That's right. Oh, he's young. He's young.
Came up in the '80s, jumping fences, all that, playing football, Pee Wee League, and all that, track and field, real athletic. Grew up in the church in the '90s in Virginia in my teenage years. Went to college for a year, dropped out. Became a father.
Yes,
and then at age 21, man, I began selling drugs full time. I got in the streets, I made those decisions, those bad choices. And that's the life I chose for almost a decade. That's what I did, And I succeeded fairly well, for that industry. I did good for myself to be in my 20s, became a father 3 times, while making those bad decisions. And then it all came to a sudden stop when I was indicted by the federal government in the year 2010.
Wow.
Age 28, the feds came knocking with a federal indictment, facing 10 to life. I subsequently was sentenced to 15 years and 8 months in federal prison. And I served 13 years, 2 months of that sentence, and landed me here in Augusta to start over after some family moved out here a couple of years ago, and this was my restart place.
Awesome.
Yeah, so, yeah, man, everything started, the real metamorphosis came while I was serving that time, while I was in my personal Department of Corrections. That's when things really began to change for me, and I began to wake up to who I am, to knowledge of self, to a value of myself and my culture, and a student of our history, and began to be an avid reader and a researcher and student of history to learn what really happened and get a grasp around not no version, but just the facts.
Absolutely.
And get a clear understanding, and that helped me become motivated to become a better person for myself, for my community, for my family, just in general, and it really sparked a bunch of my writing, and that's when I started to write poetry designed to inspire and encourage and motivate, and then it translated into me writing books for the children and things like that, because I was away from my children.
Awesome.
So I wanted to write things for children.
Do you think what happened as far as you being involved with the life of crime and going through what you had to go through, if you hadn't gone through that journey, you wouldn't be where you're at today as far as the inspiration with your writing and everything?
Without a doubt, 100%. Life would have taken a different turn.
Right.
I had no intentions whatsoever to stop being a hustler. I was making good money.
Right.
I mean, when you're making good money, you don't stop good money. So I was in my 20s, I was hard-headed, I'm a Leo, so, when I go, I'm going.
Yes, sir.
And I believe I'm right when I go.
That's
you
right.
know what I mean? But I was living the wrong way.
Right.
I was doing the wrong thing the right way.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? So I never would have stopped.
Yeah.
Ever.
Absolutely.
I needed to have a hard fall. And that's hard for many people to say. It was hard for me to say for a long time, but I had to look back at myself and the path I was going and take a true account of the harm that I was causing to my family, to my children, and realize, like, man, listen, man, to myself talking, man, you was tripping.
Right.
You were tripping hands down. You was tripping. You was bugging, and you needed to be stopped. A hard stop.
Right. Self-reflection.
You needed that. I needed some time.
Right.
To self-reflect, to correct. And I was given a lot of time to correct.
Absolutely.
And I made the best of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Where do you go to get your inspiration? Because I hear a lot of authors and writers, they have to put themselves in that mindset. They have to grab something, whether it was life experience or whether it was something that came to you. So where do you go to get that inspiration for your writing?
Man, you know, a lot of it truly is really internal through lived experience, and then you know, just my upbringing. You know, I was brought up in the church.
Okay.
In the '90s, I was brought up in the Mount Zion Temple Church in Marion, Virginia. Man, that's my home. I love y'all out there. But what was put into me, and the teachings that was put into me, you know, really came out during my time of incarceration. You know, so those lessons from my teens didn't emerge and blossom in me until I was 35, 36, 37, age 40. You know, that's when those lessons came to life, and I was able to draw from that and, you know, cross-reference those lessons with the lessons I learned in my life, in my lived experience, and then began to formulate my writing and formulate my message and infuse my messaging with the teachings that I was taught and be able to try to use it and have an impact. Right. You know, so I draw on lived experience, I draw on my teachings that I was given. You know, then you know, I'm an artist. Right. You know, so an artist have to be able to put themselves in the mindset of someone else or some other group or some demographic or whatever, and just imagine, you know, turn the lens around, and what do they see? What would that person feel? And how can I translate that as accurately as possible and creatively as possible that would draw in a reader and help them use their imagination and visualize what that person's feeling through my words. Right. You know, and that's something that I pride myself in achieving and being able to do effectively. Right. You know, and you know, it remains to be seen if I've been effective. You know what I mean? So,
I think you have. Yeah, I've seen some of your work.
Well, I hope so. You know what I mean? But I definitely just draw on inspiration and a desire to have to be good, a desire to have a positive impact. Right. So that being at the root of it forces me to dig and to draw from so many different areas of my life, and you know, just try to piece it all together and try to make a beautiful picture out of this puzzle.
Right. Let's talk about motivational speaking. As far as motivational speaker, what type of audience are you looking for when it comes to motivational speaking? I'm
looking for the audience that does not believe in themselves.
That's
you know, and I mean, you know, the message is tailored to encourage and inspire and motivate, encourage, and inspire. I call it the team of me. You know, the team me, yes, MEI, motivate, encourage, and inspire. You know what I mean? It's a change on the spelling, right. But you know, I want people to understand in my messaging, all my morning motivations are tailored towards people looking inward and recognizing that everything that you want, everything that you are striving to be is already there. You just have to just awaken that part of you, tap into that and own that and live that and be that. Absolutely. And I preach that message consistently, you know, and I live that message, and I hope that when people see me, they see me doing that. Absolutely. So, you know, I don't want to be a hypocrite online talking about believe in yourself, you can do it, and then, you know, when they meet me, I'm down on them, down on the dumps, down on the spirit, and not living and breathing what I'm preaching. So my demographic and my audience is the ones who need to hear that message the most, that you are everything you want to be. The Creator created you perfectly. Absolutely. You're perfectly designed. Own that, be that, recognize that, and stand on that. Stand on that business. Absolutely. If there's any business for you to stand on that. Stand on that business. That was built inside of us. No question. That's your message. No question. Absolutely. Without a doubt. Absolutely. You know what I mean? Scientifically proven that we are one with the universe. The particles in the sky, the particles in the ground. My human flesh is the same. Under a microscope, it's physically the same. Right. Particles on the scientific table. That's right. Of elements. We're the same. So if the Creator is omnipotent, omnipresent, and in all things and of all things, and He is in and of all me. I'm the same as the universe. Pass that collection plate around. Right.
I'm saying
over there in the back somewhere, because he is speaking our language.
Yeah, no idea.
I mean, it's just what it is, man. Like you can't run from the facts.
That's right.
You know, it's not spooky. Nope. It's not religious. This is just scientifically hardcore proven facts that my human composition is the same as the elements in the sky and in the particles in the ground. I can't get away from that.
That's right. We believe that. We definitely believe that.
So, you know, so awesome. Once I owned that years ago, once I embodied that as I was making my way through the system and living amongst this closed-in environment in prison, and once I owned that philosophy, it was it. That was all I needed right there to make sure I was straight and I was resolute and firm in my stance after that.
Awesome. So as a as you know, Onyx, we deal with our community a lot of our issues. So as a black author and a black writer, what are some of your challenges that you see like in a tight-knit community like Augusta? Augusta obviously doesn't have as a metropolitan size as some of the one cities in Virginia. So what are some of the challenges you're finding here so far?
Well, you know, I haven't found them yet.
Okay.
I'm a new author, you know, just published over the last barely 4 months.
Okay.
You know, I published my first book, my first poetry collection back in February, and published my children's book May 6th.
Yes, sir.
You know, so I'm a new author, and I'm still bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and eager and excited, and I believe in the goodness of everything, and I think everything is just so great, and I don't see wrong, I don't see bad when it comes to this industry. Yet, I'm sure that there's some negativity out there for me to see. I'm sure that, you know, there's some limitations that are going to present themselves due to my proximity to the Augusta and other metropolitan areas that are around, let's say Atlanta or Columbia or Charlotte. You know, the opportunities there that aren't going to be here. That's just real. That's being realistic. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm prepared for it. I'm being realistic that it exists, and I'm looking forward to the challenge when it comes and navigating it and finding a creative way to get around it or get over it or just face it and confront the fact that, okay, this is an insurmountable challenge. I'll take that and I'll move on to the next one.
You're a very positive brother. I mean,
I gotta be, man.
Let me ask you, because some people are just naturally positive. So were you like this even before the whole thing, you know, when you're out in the streets and everything? Were you like, I don't know how to say this, but were you like a positive person out in the streets too? Like you had an optimist attitude like always?
Without a doubt. I mean, I'm not a street dude.
Okay.
I wasn't a street dude.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's a difference in being a street dude, toting your pistol, looking all gritty, the Hollywood stereotype, right, and someone who sells drugs.
Right.
I was a drug dealer.
Right.
I was a father, I was a son, I took care of my family, I paid bills, licenses and power bills and, you know, water bills, like every other citizen. I just happened to make my money by selling drugs.
Right.
Illegal, true enough. No question about it. 100% illegal. But I conducted life like it was regular. I got up, go to work, make an appointment, come pick, you know what I'm saying? So I lived a regular life. So it allowed me to be a regular person, although I had an alternative occupation, you know, but it wasn't dangerous. Like I'm running around dodging the ops and toting my pistol, having shootouts. I didn't live that life. That life exists for some people. It didn't exist for me.
Understood.
So it allowed me to, other than the occupation, be somewhat normal.
Yes, sir.
Right? So, and like I said, I was brought up in the church. You know, I was brought up with the teachings, you know what I mean? So whether or not I believed in what Jesus Christ was doing or did or the blood of the Lord or the Lamb and whatever, whether I believed that or not, I still believed in the positivity of the message and the ability to have faith blended with actions and have results for myself. Right. You know, so now I use that in a different way when I was out there, but that was my attitude, and that's been my attitude from day one is that, you know, you can do it.
Absolutely.
Straight up. And I went about doing it. Whatever I put my mind to do, I went about doing it.
Yes,
it was illegal, I went about doing it. If it was legal, I went about doing it. You know, just now I just cut out the illegal.
That's right.
100%.
Well, we're glad to have you here. We are glad, especially in Augusta. We're glad to have you here.
Yeah.
What events you got coming up? Because I've seen a lot on your timeline and everything, and you get around when it comes to Augusta, and I love it. So, so it looks like your plate is full. So what do you have coming up in the near future for us?
It's been busy. It's been busy this month. The month of June, you know, has really increased for me as far as activity-wise and notoriety and being seen. So coming up after the day, tomorrow I will be vending at the Health and Wellness Fair at Payne College tomorrow. I will be have a table set up with my books for sale. You know, I'm new to vending, so I'll be there tomorrow doing that. Awesome. On the 28th, June 28th, I'll be at Elephant in the Room Counseling Services over off of Central Ave. Okay. I think very great counseling service, black-owned counseling service. You know, husband.
Please share all of that.
Husband and wife, Elephant in the Room. Check them out. Check their page out. Go check them out. A networking mixer they host every Friday, every last Friday of the month. I'll be there as the guest speaker this Friday. This Friday. Yeah, I'll be there this coming up Friday as the guest speaker, then networking mixer. So that's an event for me. And then something I'm really passionate about, happy about, is that coming up on July 11th, Second Thursday in July, I'll be at the Augusta Richmond County Library for story time, reading my books to the children from 11 to 12.
That's awesome,
you know,
man.
my second time doing it. I was just there this past Thursday. Had a great
What are
time.
the ages?
Hey, they're whatever age walk in the door. I don't know how. Whatever parent brings their child to the library to read, to improve their literacy rates, you know, and increase our children's representation in literature and ability to read, because it's a big thing reading in school these days, because they passing our kids along without them knowing how to read. You know, so I saw so many parents there this past Thursday, you know, and it surprised me. I didn't go to the library as a kid.
Right.
So now, as an author, a children's book author, I'm in the library and reading to children, but I'm seeing life from that perspective, seeing the mothers there bring their children into the story time. They're sitting on the little round carpet, and I'm there with my book open doing story time. It was an amazing feeling.
It has to be inspirational too, especially for kids, you know, to see someone that is, you're definitely not, you don't look like a teacher, in other words. So
Right.
you're seeing someone that they can relate to.
Right.
I just imagine that right now, that just has to be an inspiration. I didn't see that growing up. You know, I didn't see anyone, come in and, do story time and things of that nature. So that's awesome.
Man, my entire life, I never saw a black male teacher until my mother transferred me out of public school after 9th grade. Our church started a school, and our pastor's sons, 2 of them worked at the school, and that man, Lamont Turner, big ups Lamont, I see you out there, man, was my first ever black male educator. And I was 16.
Yep.
First time I ever saw a man in that role as a teacher. And I'll never forget that. I called his name. I'll never forget that brother and that role he played. And I looked up to him in that setting in my 16, 17-year-old in that time. So yeah, to be at the library, man, was very fulfilling.
Absolutely.
And I hoped it was inspirational, because there was a bunch of our sisters, mothers with their children. I saw black boys, I saw black girls, and my book, All You Can Be, right, is a kids empowerment book, and on purpose. The children are children of color.
Absolutely.
On purpose. I write my children's books for our children. Mind you, they're for children in general, but there's a lack of representation for our children in literature. So for a black man who made the decisions I made in life, to make it through what I made through the federal prison system and survive the potential race wars or police on inmate scuffles and skirmishes and everything that comes with that environment, to make it through that, and now to be out here on this phase of my life, to bring the literature that I wrote while I was in prison, out of prison, to have it illustrated, to see the visions I had in my mind come to the pages, and now to be in the library downtown, received by the public with my record, and they're reading to the children. It was an amazing feeling, very fulfilling. I was very proud to be able to do that personally. If no one saw it on my face, I was happy. If you saw the video I posted, I'm smiling and I'm geeked up. I'm laughing more than the kids, because I love the children, right? I'm a father, and I miss my children's life. While I was away, I missed their life.
Yes, sir.
I didn't get a chance to do story time with my son, or my youngest daughter, or my oldest daughter, because when she was from 1 to 8, I was in the life.
Absolutely.
So I wouldn't focus on reading her stories. I'm taking her, throwing money at her, buying stuff, thinking I'm doing a good deed as a dad, but it was the wrong approach.
Right.
So it was good to see the parents there at the library. I admire those parents, those mothers who were there, and any parent. I saw a father there as well with his son in the library, on the computer, doing story time, and I was amazed. So for me to do that, I feel that someone should be inspired.
Absolutely.
I hope that they are, because I know it's not many black men. I just know it's not, right? I'm shooting from the hip, but I believe I'm right. And I know it's not many black male authors at the library reading stories to groups of children, especially black children, so they can see a black man who wrote his own book in the library, reading to them with characters in the book that look like them, and it's important that they see that. It's important that kids understand that they can be a scientist or an astronaut or something more than a basketball player or a dancer or, a singer, and that's great. You got skills to jump and hold a note, okay, great, but we need more scientists.
Oh yeah.
We need more doctors.
Absolutely.
We need black scuba divers.
There's nothing about us monolithic at all. So,
without a doubt. And we tend to live in the monolithic bubble, and it's very harmful. It's very harmful. The monolith mindset.
Right.
It's very, very harmful to our culture.
The media shows us that all the time.
Exactly.
We see success with athletes. We see success with, you got to be an actor, or you got to, be some type of influencer or entertainer or whatever.
Right.
And it seems like even the president only wants to talk to like athletes and celebrities and everything.
Right.
I'm like, we got all these scientists, we got all these legal professionals, we got all of these professionals here that deal with, different industries, engineers. Why are we talking to them? Why are we being invited, to that table? So
It's amazing
I think
control.
your representation with those books are amazing. So yeah,
Man,
absolutely.
I'm doing my part, man. I got so many more to bring to the table. I wrote so much, man. Like,
Do you write every day?
sadly, no.
Okay.
Right? Matter of fact, today, just a little while ago, I wrote something for a friend of mine, and it was I think it might have been the first time. Well, no. I've written since I've been out, but not the way I was when I was in, because, I don't have time.
Right.
I mean,
You're constantly, you seem like you're on the go a lot.
I'm moving. I'm trying to be. I gotta be, right? Because, the world don't wait.
Absolutely.
And so, the judge sentenced me to 15 years and 8 months of time, right? He set me down, ordered me to sit down for that amount of time. I sat down for 13 years and 2 months. I was stopped at a complete halt. My mama's prayers was answered. I didn't die, you know what I mean? I didn't get killed in the street,
That's right.
but I had to be stopped. Was it supposed to be 13? Man, I don't think so, but it ended up being 13 years, 2 months.
Right.
But I had the luxury of time then. So with that time, I was able to tap in and just put the pen to paper and just empty my mind and fill it back up with imaginative thoughts and books and literature and pictures and what I'm seeing on TV and just go cross-reference that, overlay that with history, what I'm reading in the books, with the TV and the current events, and come up with something creative and try to put that into words and a visual for someone to use their imagination to see a unique view. You know what I mean? A big word that became popular a couple years ago was intersectionality. And it's all about, matter of fact, it's all about the critical race theory concept.
Okay.
Right? Critical race theory was about the intersection of law and racism.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? So when you use the word intersectionality, is when two things meet, what happens at that meeting point? You know what I mean? So you take law and racism. You got CRT, right? You take incarceration and society. You take poverty and you take race, or whatever.
Racism is woven into everything.
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
absolutely
So
everything,
a real sociological approach
Right.
to everything, and looking at society as a whole. And once you look at that point, that intersection where the two different things meet at, what's right there? And how can you describe that in words? And how can you paint numerous pictures for people who look at things through different lenses to be able to see that and recognize that and understand that and for it to make sense to all of them? So I try to just write and be creative in that aspect. So I wrote a lot, man. I wrote a lot during my time.
Yes, sir.
Because I had time to write, and it's a saying on the inside. You do the time, don't do the time. Don't let the time do you. And a lot of guys playing spades, dominoes, just kicking and sleeping to 1, 2 in the afternoon, just chilling, you know what I mean? But it's a lot of guys just like myself, and I by no means, in my elite, so to speak, but I know, I kept a company of guys who had a like mind. Right. Sharp guys who are on their way out to be a benefit to society and to be great men in this country we live in, and a great addition to add value to the world that we live in. They just sitting dormant, doing their time, waiting to be released, you know what I mean? And so, I speak a lot about that, because...
When is the autobiography coming out? Because
I know
you got some stories.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know, man. I just had a conversation about that earlier. Man. A brother was asking me about that, and he said, man, I need that story. And I was like, man, I tell it all the time, like this.
Right.
I have this conversation often, and I tell my testimony, I tell my story.
Right.
I use it. I talk to kids about it, young and old. I talk to church groups about it. I talk to youth groups about it. You know what I mean? And I repeat it ad nauseum. I just haven't put it on paper yet. Right. So I guess it's coming. It's coming soon because I'm starting to get requests for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those who are listening, pick this brother up.
So,
he needs to be on camera telling the story.
Yeah, definitely. Also, my other book, my first poetry collection called Outside the Margin of Error, a prisoner's poem collection. This is a collection of poems related to the justice system. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of poems. I wrote hundreds of poems while I was inside, but this is about 70 some that I wrote that are the pre-trial, the trial, the plea, incarceration, solitary confinement, time in the shoe, love, loss, pain, and passion, fatherhood from the inside, missing my children's lives, regret, poems about my mom, about my brother, about my family, like, but from the perspective of a man serving time who doesn't have his family, doesn't have his mother, doesn't have his children, you know. So this is my view of the world from the inside of a prison cell, you know, from behind barbed wire fences, you know. So this is that, you know, view of the courtroom and understanding. You know, I got a poem here I'm proud of called "Public Lynching." You know what I mean? And it's important that people understand what that is.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because before it was an actual literal lynching, you know, in the town square.
That's right.
Where the good old boys came out with their families and their sons and daughters and
like a barbecue
and little
thing.
lassie,
Yeah.
and they come out and enjoy the public lynching,
Right.
the trial and execution of a black man or a black woman or a black family, you know. So, and the courtrooms have turned into a high-tech lynching, you know, with drug policy and different laws that are on the books that are, you know, 40 years old and that are harming us.
Mass
incarceration,
incarceration.
you know, led to mass
Absolutely.
incarceration. So yeah, Outside the Margin of Error, available on Amazon. You know, my other book, you know, All You Can Be, a kids empowerment book, available on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. You know, working on a book signing at a couple stores right now. I ain't gonna reveal which ones because it's not locked in, but it's coming. You know, so be on the lookout for that. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on social media: Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, X, Threads.
This man got it all.
Oh, man, like I'm trying to touch all. I'm trying to touch all the avenues, man. I'm behind the 8 ball.
I've been thinking about going with Threads. I don't know yet, but now seeing if it's gonna work out for the group first.
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, hey, man, I'm behind the 8 ball.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like real talk. Like just to be honest with the audience, like this is a reality for so many people in my situation. You know, I went away at age 28.
Yes, sir.
28 years old, I went away. In my 20s,
Still young.
I came home at 41. You know, my whole 30s was spent incarcerated. I came home with a 41-year-old man with absolutely nothing, zero. You know what I mean? And so I'm behind, straight up. And I ain't rushing, I'm definitely not breaking the law, trying to catch up. But you must understand that I am behind. I got no savings, no Social Security. I ain't got no IRA, no Roth IRA, no 501, no 501, not 501. I'm talking about
401.
Yeah, no 401k, none of that.
Yeah.
I missed all that. In my 20s, I was in the streets, and then in my 30s, I was incarcerated.
So I think our audience can agree you have something that most people don't.
Yeah.
And what that is you have that sovereign energy within you that you just won't let go. How many people that haven't been through what you've been through, been given all of this luxury of time, that's had all the resources right here at our fingertips, but we still don't walk our own path.
Right.
So you are doing something, you know, as I age, put my age on 10, I'll be 52 this year. Y'all. I know I don't look
52.
But at my age, what I've seen is I passed up many opportunities because of comfortability, and some of them because of, you know, some bad decisions I made,
Right.
you know, in the past. But you have had the worst of those things as far as taken away from you, and what you're doing now is something that a lot of people just can't channel. So
True.
I give you more props than I give the person that's had the luxury of being able to do it, and they've had the resources to be able to do it, but they put it on the back table. So
I appreciate it.
That's just coming from me, but I think my audience feels that way as well.
Hey, well, I thank you, man. I appreciate that. You know,
Absolutely.
that means a lot. You know, I mean, just everything's not for everybody.
Absolutely.
You know, there's not a lot of chiefs. There's much more Indians than chiefs. There's not a lot of queen bees. There's a lot more worker bees than queen bees. And you know, there's not a lot of bulls on the farm.
Yep.
You know what I mean? There's not a lot of king lions in the jungle.
Right.
That's just there's less leaders than followers. That's just what it is. I mean, I didn't make nature this way. This is the cards that were dealt.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So, and you know, in my mind, you know, when I try to live the life of a leader.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I try to live the life of one that's going to embody what it looks like to be somebody who is living in his purpose, living in his calling, and going forward and standing on that business.
That's right.
You know what I mean? I'm standing on that I'm meant to leave an impact in this world that we live in. And when somebody mentions my name after I'm long and gone, it's going to be like, yo, that brother, that him right there,
That's right.
him right there.
The body of work is still gonna be
that,
there.
that brother right there was something, you know,
That's
and that's
right.
what I want to be left behind. You know, when someone sees my children after I'm long gone, and they realize that I'm their father. Oh, Aaron, oh, that's your dad? Oh man, your dad. You know, I want my kids to feel proud about that. You know what I mean? So that's what I was striving towards. It's not now. You know, you live in the moment, but you live for the future.
Absolutely.
You know, and so that's what it is.
What advice would you give to young writers? Someone that wants to, they're inspired by you and they want to become, an author, they want to be a writer, they want to be a motivational speaker, but maybe they just don't have the same motivation as you. We know what motivated you.
Right.
But what would you give to that young person as far as advice wise?
To the young writer, I'm gonna say, just put it on paper.
Right.
Just get your thoughts out of your head. You gotta just put it down. You type it in your MacBook, in your phone, talk to text, but empty your head of those thoughts. You got to get the thoughts out. You gotta get them out, because you'll lose them for one. You have a good thought and poof, it'll be gone.
Right.
And the word, that phrasing, that word, that sentence, how you had it in your head, you never get it back. You gotta get it out. Just somehow get it out your head. And you just build the pieces.
Right.
The puzzle will come.
Right.
The picture will form, but get the pieces out your head. To someone who wants to be a motivator and is inspired, just look at whatever was a dark cloud in your life and tell that story. Because if you were in a dark cloud before, or a dark place before, and you're no longer in that dark place, tell that story.
Right.
Straight up. That's it. It's simple.
There's a lot of messages in pain.
That's it, because somebody else can relate. That's the biggest thing that I think people fail to realize, is that there's somebody who can relate. They can relate to what you're living.
You're not always on the island by yourself.
No, people can relate, and I learned this a lot. And like I got some stories in my family. Everybody got family issues. So while I was incarcerated, man, I'm meeting tons and tons of guys from all walks of life. It's the feds, so it's people from all over the country. You know what I mean? So it's not just Georgia, but guys from Valdosta and Atlanta and Swainsboro and Statesboro. This is the federal system. So I'm with guys from Pittsburgh, New York, LA, Seattle, Texas, Guatemala, Russia, Denmark, China, Korea, like people from all over the world serving federal prison time. Right? So you find out all walks of life, and you start to learn, especially in our community, we got the similar stories, because we all were affected by government policies in this country around the same time, in the same way. And as I dig back in the guys' story we talking, I realized that, man, y'all got the same. So I call home to my brother, hey man, listen, man. I met a dude, man, whose story is way crazier than our childhood. You know what I mean? And just, so I learned that we're more alike than different. And so to the person who wants to motivate, tell your story. Just tell how you got through your dark cloud and how you found that silver lining. And it's almost like forgiveness, right? They say forgiveness is not for the one that being forgiven, it's for the forgiver.
That's right.
And so telling your story is not for the one who's really hearing it.
That's right.
It's therapeutic for you. So
I believe that.
And that's how I stay sane, is that I don't have no cut, I don't have no shade, I don't have nothing to dilute my story. I'm telling this thing raw and uncut. My mama would be like, boy, God, Aaron. I'm like, hey, this is what it is, Mom. You know what I mean? This is the story. You know what I mean? And it raw. Life gave it to us raw.
That's right.
So I tell it raw.
That's right.
And so hopefully people receive it and appreciate that it's coming at them without no cut. This is the true, transparent truth.
I think we need more of that. I think we need more just raw, unfiltered.
How they say, unvarnished.
That's right, unvarnished. We need more of that.
Yeah.
It seems like we got so many people that like to dance around, certain words, or like to dance around certain, or be careful. But it doesn't involve like explicit language, but we need to just get to the source and to the point. And we don't have enough of that.
Yeah.
I know we're starting to see it like in politics, because we got a lot of new young politicians that are coming up. So, we see it in there, but we need that everywhere.
Without a doubt. You can't get through something playing nice.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, life is life.
Right.
Life is not good or bad or nice or not nice. Life is just life. How do they say, life be lifing?
Yeah.
You know
absolutely.
what I mean? So when you're getting through your struggle and you're trying to tell your story and you're trying to give somebody something that's going to inspire them, you got to give it to them the way they're getting it.
I believe
Because they're getting it rough. Somebody tore up, feeling suicidal, they feel depressed, they feeling anxious, they got whatever's going on with them is not nice to them.
Understood.
So when you giving the truth and you giving something that you think that's gonna be medicinal, you know, medicine does not taste good.
Sometimes it becomes an enabler, you know, when
Exactly.
you're just doing a whole
but
honey
you know,
poo poo is gonna be okay type thing.
without a doubt. But when you're getting over your ailment, you know,
Right.
you drink that cough syrup when you was a kid, your mama gave you that little cup.
Mm-hmm.
Your face got all messed up and you want to spit it out, but you say, drink it. You better not spit it out.
That's right.
And you get better.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So what I'm giving to you, you better not spit out. When I'm giving you this truth, you better not spit it out. Take this, you know, you might not like the approach, you might not like the story and how I'm giving it to you, but this is how it was given to me. You know, I made decisions and then life gave me some decisions for me. You know what I mean? So the combination of both of them landed me where I landed, and now I'm landed here, and I'm here to help. I'm here to be a benefit.
Awesome. Tell our audience how they can get in connection with everything as far as your books, your website, everything that you have going on. Of course, you know, we have Augusta Onyx Views where you can always post everything, but I want them to even go off the platform to, you know, be able to connect with you.
Man, right now, my biggest tool I use right now is really Facebook, IG. You know, you can follow me, Aaron Kinzer on Facebook, Aaron Kinzer 1 on Instagram. I'm on TikTok, like I say, Snapchat, Twitter, or X, formerly known as Twitter. I'm on Threads. You know, I'm posting on all platforms, something to some level. My Linktree, linktr.ee/AK1love. Check out my Linktree. You know, you can find that on my Facebook page also. And from there, you know, because I'm also a journalist, right? So while I was incarcerated, I became a journalist as well. So you go to my Linktree. You can also, and it's pretty much, you can also, you know, they say don't say this, but I say it anyway. You can Google me, right? Straight up. You can just Google my work. You can see me online. You can see my articles online. You can see my I post all my stuff as far as my articles and things. But if you want to just the simplest form, just type my name in Google, and you'll see the good, the bad, the ugly. You know, it ain't nothing to hide. You know what I mean? So you'll see the stuff about my articles.
Yes, sir.
And you see stuff about me. The article about me being arrested and being sentenced. You know, that's also on my Linktree. So yeah, check me out, Aaron Kinzer, the Impact Poet. I'm online, I'm out there, I'm in your face, I'm giving it to you raw and uncut. I hope you appreciate it. If you're out there, if you got a school, church, youth group, at-risk youth group, chaplain, educator inside a prison setting, sports team, coach, anybody who messes with the children, who's dealing with the children, who's dealing with at-risk populations, contact me, book me, bring me into your church, bring me into your school. I am here for you, I have a message for you. I am aiming and seeking to inspire, encourage, and motivate you to be the best versions you can ever be. And the people that you administer to and talk to, I want to tell them the same message. Bring me in.
We are definitely going to support this brother, just like we support all of our guests that comes on Augusta Onyx Views or come on the podcast. So he's going to get the same level of support. We're also going to be putting some information in the comments as well. I know everybody wasn't able to join us today, and that's cool. You know, we're going to do a recording for y'all. You know, we like to be late sometime coming onto the podcast, but we got y'all covered with that. We do have an event coming up July 6th, and it's going to be at the Municipal Building downtown, 12 to 3, and we are actually going to be doing some networking. We've invited Mr. Aaron to be there. Hopefully he can sketch some time in his schedule to be there. And also bring some of his motivational speaking as also along with his poetry. So we're looking forward to it. So Augusta Onyx Views, thank y'all for tuning in. We love y'all. Any last words?
Oh man, hey, be blessed. Stay up, stay way up. You know, be blessed. Big shout out to my supporters before we go, please, you don't mind?
Absolutely, yeah.
Let me shout out Certified CEO Clothing. Let me shout out Uprise Entertainment. Let me shout out my homegirl, good friend of mine, great poet, Cy Jules. Thank you for the support. Shout out Humanitary, Baruti Tucker. We see you out there. Y'all doing y'all thing. You know, shout out Beverly's Body Butter. You know what I mean? My homegirl. Appreciate your support and everybody who's showing love to my to my struggle, to my hustle. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all. So hey, everybody else, if y'all tuned in, man, y'all stay up. Show love where love is due. You know, hey, be blessed. Peace.
Peace.